welcome back. You're on the War Room with Owen Schroyer and Roger Stone. This is where we break down the daily political doings of the day and expose the latest foibles of the fake news media, the deep state, and the globalists who would move us aggressively to one world government. Owen, what's up next on the hit parade? One thing I want to mention quickly is a terrific piece we just posted on the Infowars.com site. Anybody who watched the funeral coverage for former President George H.W. Bush may have missed the real story of one of the most dangerous men and the only CIA director to ever become president. This piece by the veteran New York Times investigative reporter Seymour Hersh outlines a number of illegal operations Vice President George Bush undertook behind the back of President Ronald Reagan. We know that as vice president, George Bush operated a cocaine smuggling ring in which cocaine was shipped and imported to Mena, Arkansas, sold for cash, and that cash was used to illegally finance the Nicaraguan Contras after the Congress made such funding from taxpayer funds illegal. You can read about this and more in my book, The Bush Crime Family. If you get a moment, see that piece at InfoWars. It's a must read. Owen?
Well, Roger, this kind of brings us to the larger issue, which would be the CIA in general. Now, you talk about the CIA, you know, running drugs, drug trafficking, cocaine. You mentioned the operations they had out of Mena, Arkansas, where there were a couple of young men that died. They said, oh, yeah, they were smoking some marijuana and passed out on the train tracks. Oh, yeah, I'm sure they did. I got a bridge to sell you underwater on Mars while you're at it. Believe in that. You've got the Mockingbird Press that got exposed during the Frank Church hearings. And then you've got the declassification of the JFK files from President Trump 2 years ago, where it talks about the CIA covering up the assassination of JFK, covering up the multiple shooter angle, covering up the involvement at the highest levels of U.S. government. So there's all of this stuff that we know about the corruption in the CIA, intelligence agencies lying about weapons of mass destruction, lying about the Gulf of Tonkin, lying about babies in incubators. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And, you know, the Covington Catholic Boys High School story, Roger, is going to be a paramount moment for exposing the fake news media for what it is. And what happened to those boys is unfair, and what continues to happen to that school and that community is unbelievable. But still to this day, it's like now they're like people invading that community now in Kentucky. But Roger, I mean, on the grand scale here, it's really a minor issue. Again, I mean, I feel bad for those boys in the school, but like we're talking about the mainstream media that's lied us into war in Iraq, where people died, thousands, hundreds of thousands, lied us to a war in Vietnam, lying us into any war they want to get us involved in. So really people need to take a step back and realize, look, the media trying to destroy and harass these teenage boys is like low-level garbage for them. I mean, there's a reason why they feel that they can triple down on this false narrative and get away with it, because they've lied us into wars where millions of people died. So, I mean, Roger, where do we draw the line here and say, look, we need major reform at the CIA, we need major reform at the FBI, and maybe we kind of piggyback this government shutdown and say, you know what, let's just go ahead and continue this government shutdown. Let's take it one step further. I think this country will be quite all right without some of these FBI, CIA, deep state embeds in there corrupting things.
Well, I would say two things. First of all, the president should direct his attorney general, his acting attorney general, to conduct an investigation into the activities of former CIA director John Brennan. This is the same John Brennan who, as the station chief in Riyadh in Saudi, approved the visas for several of the men who hijacked and attacked the United States on 9/11. This is the same John Brennan who converted to radical Islam himself. This is the same John Brennan who authorized the spying on President Donald Trump. This is the same John Brennan who spied on a Senate committee investigating illegal torture by the CIA. This man's crimes go on and on. He's a psychopath. He's a loudmouth, and he thinks he's a power unto himself. This guy has broken multiple laws, but he thinks he is above justice. And he keeps threatening the president of the United States on Twitter. It's time for a full investigation of his entire career of public service. And I think you will find that he's the most corrupt CIA director we have ever had. And he is involved in multiple crimes, including the illegal use of surveillance in the 2016 campaign. I bet he is fully aware of the FBI infiltration of Donald Trump's campaign. John Brennan, public enemy number one. You can find a great piece I wrote about him at Infowars.com. But you're absolutely right. The president needs to rein in these rogue intelligence services. He can start by firing Christopher Wray, his FBI director. Where did this swamp creature come from? Here's what we know. Just 10 days ago, the New York Times reported accurately that on the heels of the firing of James Comey, the FBI opened an investigation, what they called a counter-espionage investigation, into whether Donald Trump was, quote unquote, working for the Russians. They did this with no probable cause and no evidence. They did it out of spite because the epic corrupt criminal, Comey, who covered up Hillary Clinton's illegal use of a secret email server, had been fired. Now, the FBI director lied under oath to Congress about this investigation, and he lied to the president's face about his investigation, as did Rod Rosenstein. But then we knew Rod Rosenstein was a bad apple. But the president's own FBI director betrayed him. Why is this swamp creature still on the job? I'm calling on the president right now to fire his FBI director and replace him with somebody who could actually do the job and be loyal to the country, to the Constitution, and to the president. For example, former New York Police Commissioner Ray Kelly, someone Donald Trump has known for over 30 years, a man of enormous integrity who could do this job. Christopher Wray was recommended for this position by Chris Christie. He looks like he should be a dealer behind one of the crap tables in Atlantic City. He's the wrong man for the job. He is deep state down to his underwear, and he has lied to the face of the president of the United States. Donald Trump should say, "You're fired."
Well, and really, he shouldn't stop there. I think he should go on and he should retract his nomination of William Barr, again, a guy who's deep state to his underwear. But I mean, Roger, let me ask you this, because it's hard to believe that Trump is appointing these people with a fully vetted, informative, background check. The guy who said drain the swamp and then ends up nominating these swamp creatures. I mean, is President Trump being misinformed? Is he making deals with these people? Is he being tricked? I mean, what does he think he can win them over, bring them around? I mean, what do you think is going on here? Has the president just been genuinely deceived by these people and people in his administration that tell him, no, this is the nominee that you want?
Again, I think he's operating on the basis of partial information. So yes, in a way, he's being deceived. I'm sure the fact that Mr. Barr has been previously approved by the U.S. Senate, and the fact that he wrote a memo that he circulated to his friends criticizing some aspects of the Mueller investigation, were held up to the president as two strong indicators why he should be nominated. The fact that he oversaw the cocaine trafficking operation in Mena, Arkansas, while working for George Bush, that was probably not on his resume. I'm just guessing. So, yeah, I think the president has been misled. I question the role of Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law. How much of this stuff does he know, and how much of it is he telling the president? Thank goodness we are rid of John Kelly, because I think he was concealing a great deal from the president. I say let Trump be Trump. The president's instincts are solid. His heart is pure. He really believes in the American dream and American exceptionalism and American sovereignty. And when he has all the facts, it is my experience that he makes good decisions. He only makes bad decisions when he doesn't have all the facts. And he has a full plate, let's face it. Running this country is a monumental task. And unfortunately, in many cases, he has surrounded himself with certified swamp creatures who did not vote for him, do not support his agenda, and who think their job is to dilute what he was trying to do, to water it down, to slow it down, to stall it, in some cases to block it. The president has been disserved by so many on his White House staff. It's hard to fathom. Where are the Trump supporters around Donald Trump? Where are the trusted people who believe, other than Stephen Miller, who I think understands the mission, he has surrounded himself with establishment Republicans who don't serve him well. Owen, it's been great to be with you here on The War Room. We ask our compatriots one more time, go to the Infowars.com store, have my back, have Owen's back, get your Hexagon shirt now, buy your copy of Stone's Rules. You'll be glad you did. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Let's go to Wild Man in Illinois. Thanks for holding, and about to say Happy New Year. Go ahead.
Alex, yeah, going into 2019, what Trump's got to do to save America, he's got to declassify FISA, expose the corruption, arrest the traitors, and arrest the pedophiles. That's how he saves America. My opinion, an over-the-road trucker, hardworking, honest man, that's what I believe.
I agree. Victory or death. He's now, looks like he's cleaning house. He's getting rid of all the double agents. And the word is Trump is going to go into battle now. We're talking he's going to strike back against the censorship. He's going to strike back against the pedophile rings. It's already begun. He's going to strike back against the deep state. He's going to strike back against all the criminal activity of Comey and Mueller being Russian operatives. So just get ready.
Another note, I've spent over $3,000 in your store this year. I'm a loyal supporter, and thanks for great products.
Brother, let me tell you something. I want to thank you. If folks like you didn't stand with us against the incredible Hillary Clinton and Soros attacks, which they admit they're running, we would not be here now. They're taking Michael Savage off the air. They're taking everybody. They took Franklin Graham off Facebook. They need to get us all off the air before they make their move on Trump. That's why this is a war. And you supporting us is incredible. Which products do you like the best?
Man, I use the bodies. I got so many of the T-shirts that ain't even funny. I got your stickers posted on my hard hat, on my GPS, my truck. I tell truckers about you over the CB airways all across the country. I spread the word about you. I wear your clothes, your hats, your shirts, you name it. Multitude of products.
How much love do you get versus hate do you get?
It's people skeptical, but like it's probably about 50-50 or 60-40 your way. It's just so many people got their head in the sand out here.